Greetings, church. Today is Monday, the 8th of February, 2020. I am standing right now at the corner of Southwest Main and Southwest 3rd Avenue. And you can see directly behind me there are campers, probably protesters. Earlier today I was walking by and I noticed that they were fixing one of the windows. They removed, right over there you can see the windows. Those three windows right there, the one in the middle was completely smashed in by protesters from last year's protesting. And you can see these columns here are all covered up with boarding because they were completely graffitied out, the same way you see these blocks here were graffitied out. And you can see right there KKK cops, fuck 12. Over here it says Nazis, humble proud boys, strange. And you can see right all the way over here there was spray painting, but they're not doing that anymore. And so it's just a few people. Looks like behind me over there is you can see that there are people still doing the tent. But the reason why I'm here today, I just came out of the Portland Police Department, which is this is the flagpole where the flag was. And remember what it says here: the due administration of justice is the firmest pillar of good government, George Washington, 1789. And that's the Justice Center entrance there. You can see it's all boarded up. Okay, all around the building it's boarded up. Nothing has changed. I just spoke to Channel 2 outside of the police department. Everything is boarded up. You can't even get in through over here too. Everything is boarded up. This is the other side of Madison and Southwest, where I was sexually assaulted about 2 weeks ago. Issue is, I went to the stimulus check is one issue. Okay, this here is the how to schedule an appointment, right? The number is 1-844-545-5640. It's a scam. When the building where you actually make the appointment is right over there, the Edith Green building. That big building right there, that's the Edith Green building. It's dedicated to Barack Obama's administration. Went in there, they gave me that sheet that I just showed you, and told me to call to make an appointment to go downstairs to see IRS to file an application for the stimulus check. Earlier today, I went to First Street Routes, where last year they actually allowed me to file an application, and I was able to get the $1,200 stimulus check. When I went back for the $600, they told me, well, since you got the $1,200, you can't get the $600. I thought, okay. They sent me information on my telephone here and told me to apply for it. There's money waiting for me, and they kept on enticing me with it. So I said, all right. So I went to Street Routes to see if I can file an application. They had a poster outside saying you need to go to 310 Southwest 4th Avenue, Lewis and Clark. And so I went to Lewis and Clark. And spoke to the security guard. He told me there's nobody up there. The whole 10th floor is shut down, but there is a phone number that they gave me. I think it's like 503-768-6500. When you call that number, it doesn't go through. When you call that number, it basically says this number here is not receiving any calls. So no one Street Routes can't file an application through them. No one Lewis and Clark can't file an application to them. Then I went to the EBT, the place where you file for EBT. When I got there, it was a restraint, and I wasn't sure. I mean, it's like you're getting EBT, which is the food stamps. They should have been able to connect with, and with that same card, you're able to get money from the government. I haven't worked since 2017. I've been in this situation. I wasn't able to work because Labor Ready didn't allow people to work who didn't have a telephone. But because they got violent and they trespassed into my home and they were doing some things on the job that I didn't like, I didn't go back to Labor Ready even when I got the phone last year. Problem is that I decided I was going to go ahead and go back to work and see if I can get a job. Every time I try to go back to work to get a job, they're not responding. Once they find out that I'm camping out in a tent, my address is from Vancouver because it's on my driver's license, then they're like, no, we can't employ you because of, whatever. So I said, okay, fine. So I stopped putting out application because that's what was going on with the hotels and with security. They wouldn't allow me to work. So this year I went 3 times to try to file a stimulus check. I just called a few minutes ago to see if I could, from the police department, to see whether or not I could set an appointment with the stimulus check. And basically the response was, you need to call, we'll call you, don't call us, to make an appointment. Okay, so now I'm waiting for them to call me. They're supposed to call me back at 2:20, which is in 5 minutes, right? They're supposed to call me back at 2:20, which is in 5 minutes, to see whether or not we can schedule an appointment through this. But I'll be honest with you, I think the whole thing was a scam for President Trump to get perhaps more votes when the time came. And now here it is, we have President Biden. And I'm not exactly sure why they're bringing up the stimulus check thing again. So I think that may be another scam from the government. And what I told Channel 2 was that this whole government and the police department is a scam, because it's you go in there and you try to file reports through non-emergency or 911. They won't do any investigations. They won't go to the places, like if someone is sleeping in a doorway and there is a camera above where they're sleeping in a doorway and the camera records everything, they will not go to the super, the manager, to get the copy of what has happened there and review it so that they can arrest the trespassers, perpetrators, rapists, sex offenders, people that are assaulting others. I've been dealing with the police department for 9 years in the state, and it was the same thing in Seattle, Washington for 14 years. They will not do the job that they're being paid for. They're being paid $40,000 to $90,000 a year, and whether it's the chief of police or whether it's the sergeant or just a street cops, they will not do their job and do any kind of investigation if it's in involvement with John MacArthur or Gabriel Franklin. So, and I pointed up and I said to Channel 2 that somebody needs to expose the fact that this is a scam that's going on here with this police department and with this government here in Portland. It's just, these people are pagans, they're unbelievers, they're not Christ-centered. They for some reason or another, you're supposed to push it under the carpet of that. You're supposed to push it under the carpet of homosexuality. You get hit, you get hurt, you get cut, you get pierced, you get molested on a nightly basis, by fake mothers like Gabriel Franklin, fake brothers like Guy Franklin, and who are representing the Queen and the Prince of Wales. And you're supposed to take all the hits, and I don't see it that way. Last night, after I think I might have spoken to the police department yesterday. I don't remember. It's sort of like a day-to-day thing. The Lord says you need to come out and speak to them and file a report against what is being done against your body and against your person. And I don't have a choice but to do what God says, So I file the reports as I can and as I'm able to. Anyway, last night I gave them this. I spoke to them for about 15 minutes. And this is, I don't know if you can read this, okay? It's from Psalms 10. It says, let not evil into your heart. Psalms 10, 1 through 18, and Mark 7, 20 through 23. I'm going to read that for you real quick so that you understand. And then behind it was this here. It says, need cash. Thanks. God loves a cheerful giver, from 2 Corinthians 9, 7. So I gave that to them at Pioneer Square Park. Let me read to you Psalms. And I basically talked about, the fights that I've been having with these women, African-American women, European women, and of course, the 3 girls that almost came out on me yesterday on my way to Clackamas. So women are and of course I just dealt with an African-American woman whom I don't think was really on my side and probably stood against me as a Haitian male who didn't submit to that. So yesterday I read them this passage here. When I did this, let not evil into your heart, right? Let not evil into your heart, evil into your heart in here. So anyway, I'm hearing it in Spanish, but anyway, so I went and I read this to them first, Mark 7. Mark 7 verses 20 through 23 says this. Verse 20 says this. And he was saying, that which proceeds out of the man, that is what defiles the man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed the evil thoughts, fornications, thefts, murders, adulteries, deeds of coveting and wickedness, as well as deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, and foolishness. all these evil things proceed from within and defile the man. Then I went forward and read this here and gave them a sort of like a brief on what each verse is saying, but I won't do that here. But I want you to hear these words, and I think the psalmist might be David. It's a prayer for the overthrow of the wicked, coming from Psalms 10, 1 through 18. It says, "Why do you stand afar, O Lord? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble?" The psalmist says, "In pride the wicked hotly pursue the afflicted. Let them be caught in the plots which they have devised. For the wicked boast of his heart's desire, and the greedy man curses and spurns the Lord. The wicked, in the haughtiness of his countenance, does not seek him. All his thoughts are, there is no God." It says, verse 5, "His ways prosper at all times. Your judgments are on high, out of his sight. As for all his adversaries, he snorts at them. He says to himself, I will not be moved. Throughout all generations, I will not be in adversity. His mouth is full of curses and deceit and oppression. Under his tongue is mischief and wickedness. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the hiding places, he kills the innocent. His eyes stealthily watch for the unfortunate. He lurks in a hiding place as a lion in his lair. He crouches, he bows down, and the unfortunate fall by his mighty ones. He says to himself, God has forgotten. He has hidden his face. He will never see it. This is a description of the wicked, and he says, "Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up your hand." This is his prayer. "Do not forget the afflicted. Why has the wicked spurned God? He has said to himself, you will not require it. You have seen it, for you have beheld mischief and vexation, to take it into your hand. The unfortunate commits himself to you. You have been the helper of the orphan. Break the arm of the wicked and the evildoer. Seek out his wickedness until you find none. The Lord is king forever and ever." Verse 16, "Nations have perished from his hand, from his land. O Lord, you have heard the desire of the humble. You will strengthen their heart. You will incline your ear to vindicate the orphan and the oppressed, so that man who is on the earth will no longer cause terror." So I read that to them yesterday, and in so doing, after that, I went and pitched my tent, the 4x7 at Southwest Alder, and in between 3rd and 4th Avenue, next to the FedEx building. And of course, they came into the tent, they molested, and I think they drugged me, because I wasn't able to get up this morning until probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll excuse me for a second here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I have a call coming in here. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.